What it do, what it do. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Definitely appreciate all the love and all the support I've been getting on my channel. Channel been growing like crazy. Definitely getting a lot of comments. Make sure y'all please like, share, and subscribe to the channel at Tay Luciano Media. That's Tay Luciano Media. Bringing y'all this video today, Jim Jones versus PushaT. Yes, Jim Jones versus PushaT. They has an ongoing beef since 2013. I remember Jim Jones being on a hip hop platform. I believe it was Hot 97 or something like that. And they were speaking on like the top 50 billboard or whatever. And PushaT name got brung up. And Jim Jones was basically saying that Pusha shouldn't be on the list, and basically kind of dissed him. You know what I'm saying? I remember at the time, Jim Jones had put out the El Capo album. The first album initially came out in 2019. He dropped the deluxe of 2020. You know what I mean? In like November. I don't know what took so long for the deluxe to come out, but he dropped the deluxe in 2020. But they didn't. He spoke on Pusha in 2023. You know what I'm saying? At the time, Pusha had dropped, I believe, Daytona came out in 2018, and then he actually had an album in 2022, which was titled It's Almost Dry. You know what I mean? That came out in 2022, and that album was actually a pretty good album, but it didn't have the same promotion behind it as Daytona. Daytona, he was really promoting Daytona. He was speaking about Daytona. The whole album was produced by yours truly, Kanye West, Ye. You know what I mean? But that Almost Dry album was actually a pretty good album. That album had featured Pharrell. Ye was on that album. And actually Don Toliver, he had a song with Don Toliver and Lil Uzi was on that album as well. But when Jim Jones spoke on PushaT, that was 2023. And he kind of got at him at the Louis Vuitton fashion show back in, I believe, what was that, 2024, when Pharrell gave that fashion show in Paris. You know what I'm saying? He kind of took a little small jab at Jim Jones. But I believe due to the fact that the Clips is scheduled to drop an album next month called Let God Sort 'Em Out. You know what I mean? It's been a long time since we seen them two drop an album. It's been years. It's been a very long time. It's been about three and a half years since Pusha dropped an album. You know what I mean? And he haven't really made any records or went on any podcasts or any interviews or any hip hop platforms and spoke about Jim Jones. But just due to the fact that, you know, the Clips is back together and they about to drop an album and they back rapping together, him and his brother, I truly believe Pusha is going to get at Jim Jones on this album. Now we see that Jim Jones just put out At the Church Steps back in March. Definitely was a dope album. Definitely dropped a deluxe. Jim Jones has been on a good run these last couple of 5-6 months. You know, he kicked up the beef again with, you know, his compadre, should I say, or his once partner, Cam, and you know what I mean, that got back going for a little minute. But over the years, we have seen Jim Jones get better and better as an artist, as a performer, and definitely as a lyricist. Now, could I see Jim Jones and PushaT do a versus? No, I don't think Jim Jones and Pusha could do a versus, because Pusha doesn't have those type of records that Jim Jones has. Jim Jones got the Certified Gangster, Ball and all these great records that he got, even crunk music, and you know what I mean, he got these smash hits. Pusha don't really have that. But far as lyricists, being a dope lyricist, being a dope MC, Pusha got that. I think, and Pusha has always had that, you know what I mean? But over the course of the years, Jim Jones has gotten better and better as an artist. You know, in recent years, my favorite 2 Jim Jones album, well, 3, is, I would have to say, Wasting Talent, El Capo, and definitely the one he just put out, At the Church Steps. Definitely a dope album. He's definitely been making his run at different podcasts. Definitely been out there on the scene even more. We see, and he done been dropping videos frequently. You know what I mean? He got a lot of videos for the best songs, I would say, on the album, on his latest album that he just recently put out, At the Church Steps. But I think with this new Clips album, I think it's gonna be dope production. Malice is back rapping, you know what I mean? And I think it would be production from Ye, you know what I mean? Who knows, maybe even Pharrell and everything like that. But we see time and time again that the Clips has dope projects. They has dope projects, hands down. But I think he's definitely going to get at Jim Jones. You know what I mean? I truly believe that. You know, these are 2 dope MCs. You know what I mean? And I have to go back and listen to At the Church Steps. You know what I mean? And see if it's any subliminal jabs at Pusha. You know what I mean? Because we do know, though, that a lot of New York dudes send a lot of subliminal message, and that, you know, they send a lot of subliminal messages through their songs. You know, they're the type of artists that send subliminals that you'll have to really listen to and figure out, like, oh, okay, he's talking about that person. Oh, yeah, he's referencing, you know, when that situation happened, you know, versus you see like the Cali dudes or dudes from Atlanta, they're just gonna blatantly, you know, get at you, say your name and put it out there. With the New York dudes, rappers, it's a lot of subliminal, you know, hidden messages, so to speak, through their records. You know what I mean? And they've been like that for years. But I think that's what make it pretty fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Due to the fact you have to really like go in and decode or really be tied into the music, really be tied into the culture, really be tied into that artist to know what they're talking about. But nevertheless, I think this new Clips album is gonna be dope. It's scheduled to come out July the 11th. Definitely gonna be one of the ones for the summer. I truly believe, just being a fan and a student of this hip hop culture, you know what I mean? For many, many years, I definitely rock with the Clips. I definitely rock with Jim Jones, not only for the rapping, but definitely on the fashion. Jim Jones is somebody that's been super, super huge on fashion. Definitely got a lot of styles. We definitely see that in the early beginning, that's where Wayne got a lot of his craft and a lot of his style from. And it's actually an interview of Jewel's talking about how one summer Wayne even hung out with them, you know what I mean, for a whole summer, and how afterwards Wayne's style of dress and Wayne rapping just totally changed after that, you know what I mean? So we already know that these dudes has been very big on the culture, definitely big on in the hip hop culture, you know what I'm saying? And Jim Jones being one of the main dudes from Dipset that's been in the forefront, you know, he's definitely somebody that's been carrying that banner, that Dipset banner, that New York banner, you know what I mean, for many, many years. when Cam wasn't on the scene no more, when everybody was wondering what was going on with Jewels, he carried that Dipset flag for many, many years and still doing it to this day. You know, honestly, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for Jim Jones, I think Dipset would have been done. You know what I mean? Because for a long period of time, Cam wasn't putting out music. Jewels wasn't putting out music. The only person that was putting out good quality sounding music was Jim Jones. You know, from the videos, from the interviews, and everything. You know what I mean? And I definitely feel like he's somebody, even over the years, has gotten better with his emotions. You know what I mean? We've seen him time and time again being very emotional, but we all know Jimmy wear his, you know what I'm saying, his emotions on his sleeve. But I think he's gotten very better with that over the last, 3 to 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? But this new Clips album is gonna, I'm definitely going to be one of the ones. It's been a long time since we've seen them. You know what I mean? It's been a long time since we've seen them be dope, you know what I'm saying, together. You know what I mean? And I truly believe that this one is going to be one of the ones. But I truly believe that he's going to get at Jim Jones. I just feel like he's going to get at Jim Jones. You know what I'm saying? I truly, truly believe that. And due to the fact that Jim Jones just had fallen out pretty much with Ye. You know what I'm saying? Due to the fact they was working together, they was going to do some fashion, drop a line or something like that together. They was working on fashion together. And Ye was calling Jim Jones bro. You know what I'm saying? Say he don't know how to send a PDF. You know what I mean? Like, he don't know what a PDF is. Jim Jones got back at Ye saying, like, yo, dude is tripping. He out of his mind. Find somebody safe to play with. And he even was just not too long ago on Angela Yee podcast, Lip Service. Shout out to Angela Yee. Said, Ye, somebody tell Ye to give me my chain back. And we seen a picture with Ye still wearing a chain after the whole situation, after he made them comments towards Capo. You know what I'm saying? Him still rocking a diplomat chain and everything like that. So, and all of that is tied in. You know what I mean? All of that is tied in. You get what I'm saying? And we see that Jim Jones pretty much aligned himself with Drake, and we see how that played out. You know what I mean? Kanye getting that, Drake with the whole Kendrick situation, and Jim Jones kind of rocking with Drake more so. You know what I'm saying? We seen Drake bring out Dipset when he performed one time a couple of years back at the Garden. Jewels was on stage. Cam was on stage, Jim was on stage, and he still rocked with Drake, still tied in with Drake. He even said he speaks to Drake pretty frequently or pretty whenever, on a regular, whenever he get a chance to. So I can even see him possibly Ye being on the album, definitely doing production, but maybe Ye will be on the album and take another jab at Jim Jones on wax, you know what I'm saying? But I think this would be a great look for hip hop, great for the culture, and it's all a part of the sport. Real lyricists, real rap. But let me know what y'all think about this situation. Do y'all feel like this will be a great look for hip hop? Do y'all think that PushaT will get at Jim Jones on his new project that the Clips is dropping July the 11th? You know what I mean? Do y'all think it would be production from Pharrell, production from Ye? You know what I mean? Let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about this. You know what I mean? And make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back again with another one. You dig? Peace.